All right, so this is our Chapter 6 test review. We're going to start this a little bit in reverse today in that we're going to do your chapters 1 through 5. You have 5 questions on your test tomorrow that are review questions. So I'm going to ask you to solve the equation. All right, so you guys can do this on your desk or on a sheet of paper, either one. All right, so we have 3x minus 15 equals 30. What do we do first? Add 15 to both sides. Okay, bring down the 3x. And then what do we do last? Divide both sides by 3. What did y'all get? X equals 15. Perfect. All right, next question is going to be inequalities. Okay, now this one is going to be tricky. All right, negative 2 times x minus 3 is greater than 12. Okay, now remember your rules for negatives connected to variables. Okay, remember those rules. Okay, I'm just going to start it. Negative 2x, is it going to be plus 6 or minus 6? Plus or minus? Negative 2 times negative 3 is what? Plus 6. Positive 6 is greater than 12. Okay, now you're going to subtract 6 from both sides. All right, negative 2x is greater than 6. What do I need to do last? What do I do last? Divide both sides by what? Negative 2. What's my rule when a negative is connected to my variable? Flip the sign. So it's x is less than negative 3. Then when you graph that on the number line, you need 3 lines. Okay, 3 numbers. What number goes in the middle? Negative 3. What number goes to the left or one less? Negative 4 and negative 2. Open or close dot? Open. And which way does my arrow go? To the left. Okay. All right. Last concept on your review section tomorrow is proportions. Solve the proportion. We have 1.5 over 9 equals 6 over x. All right, so go ahead and solve the proportion. All right, so did you guys do cross products? 1.5 times x is 1.5x. 9 times 6 is 54. Divide both sides by 1.5. And what did you guys get? 36. X equals 36. Very good. All right, who got 36? Did you guys get 36? Good job. All right, so now let's move into the Chapter 6 review. Okay. All right, so I actually write the percent as a decimal. All right, let's do the second column. Numbers 5, 6, and 7 match closer to what you're going to see on your test tomorrow. So let's just do numbers 5, 6, and 7. All right, write the fraction as a decimal and percent. Now remember, calculators will be allowed tomorrow, so you don't have to show the long division. All right. So go ahead and solve numbers 5, 6, and 7. What's 2 divided by 9? What'd you get? 0.2. Okay, so you get 0.2 repeating. So how many decimal places did we say to go out? Do you guys remember? 4 decimal places. So I want you to go 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places out. That fourth 2 will tell you how to round the third 2. Okay, so for the decimal you could just put the repeating bar on the last two, or you could put it over all the twos. I don't really care either way. All right. But when you round it to the percent, okay? So for the percent, how many decimal places do I move? In which way? Two places to the right. This fourth two, does it keep the third two the same or round it up?
The same.
Keeps it the same. So I'm going to say 22.2 repeating percent. Okay, so that decimal repeats. Okay, but you only have to write it once. All right. If you don't write the repeating sign and you round it, that's fine as well. Okay, I'm not going to be picky about that. All right, what about 9 over 2? What about 9 over 2? What is that? 4.5. And then what is it as a percentage? What did you guys get? 450%. All right, I'm going to give you another minute to get number 7 done. Shouldn't take too long. Right? You probably already have that one memorized. Anybody have that one memorized? Okay. What is it, guys? 0.75 and 75%. So that's all you'll have to do on the first couple. All right. Now you're going to have a couple questions for percent proportion and or equation. You're going to be able to use whatever method you want. So I said percent proportion because I prefer the percent proportion when I'm solving for percent. Okay. But again, whichever method you want to use, you won't be penalized. So you can use either method. All right, go ahead and solve this problem, percent proportion. All right, so if I'm using the proportion, all right, let's write the formula. Let's say it together. A over W equals P over 100. Okay. So where does 20 get plugged in? A, because remember, is my keyword for A. So 20 gets plugged in for A. What's my keyword for W? Of, very good. So 50 goes on the bottom, equals P over 100 that I don't know. Once I do my cross products, I get 50P equals 2,000. Divide both sides by 50. And what's my percentage? 40%. All right, so because the division by 100 is in the formula, my answer is already a percentage. If you used the equation, you should have gotten 0.4. Then you convert it to a percentage. Okay? All right, we're going to do one more. Let's do the third one. Okay? Let's do the third one. 120 is 125% of what number? All right, we just have a lot of content to cover. So I think one more practice problem here will help us get this section squared away. All right, so on this one, I would use the percent equation. A equals P times W. A equals P times W. And which one is my A value? Which one's my A value, guys? 120. Which one is my P value? Oh, sorry. Okay, which one's my P value? What did you plug in for P? 1.25W. Did you change the percent to a decimal? Okay, now divide both sides by 1.25. And what's 120 divided by 1.25? What did you get? 96. All right, W equals 96. Does my answer make sense? 120 is 125% of some number. So it makes sense that my part is actually bigger than the whole because it's 125%. All right. Okay, you have percent of increase and decrease. Let's do one of these. Let's do the second one again. 24 songs to 78 songs. So you're going to say what the percent of increase or decrease is, and then you're also going to tell me if it is an increase or decrease. Okay, so make sure you say which one it is. All right, here we go. Say the formula with me. Percent equals AOC over ORG. Okay, so the amount of change between the two, what's the amount of change? 78 minus 24, which is what? 54 songs, right? I just subtract them from each other. I'm not worried about positive or negative. Divided by the original amount or the starting value, which is what? 24. So what's 54 divided by 24? 2.25. Okay. 54 divided by 24 is 2.25. Okay. But now I have to change that to a percentage. Okay, 225%. Is that an increase or a decrease? All right, big time. All right, and then you can just abbreviate INC for increase. All right. Okay, percent error. We're not going to do both boxes. Let's just do box A. Let's just do box A because you're not going to have to do a comparison on your test tomorrow. You're just going to have to calculate percent error. Okay? So a company fills boxes with about 21 ounces of cereal. The acceptable percent error is 2.5%. Well, box A contains 20.4 ounces. So is it acceptable? All right, let's say the formula together. All right, PE, percent error, equals the amount of error divided by the actual amount. Okay, so how much is the amount of error between 21 and 20.4? 0.6 divided by how much was actually in box A? 20.4. Okay, and when you do 0.6 divided by 20.4, what do you get? It's approximately 2.9%. Okay, so is box A good?
Where did you get 0.6?
I got 0.6 because I did 21 minus 20.4. I subtracted the what was supposed to be in it versus what was actually in it to see how much it was off by. Okay. All right, so 2.9%. Did they make the cut? No, it is not acceptable. It's not acceptable for percent error. All right, now let's talk markups and discounts. Markups and discounts. All right, so we're talking markup. Remember, markups, that's what the businesses do to stay in business, right? Discounts, we just had our biggest sale of the year, didn't we? Black Friday. All right, that's when you can get good deals on things. So let's talk about your formula first, okay? The formula that we're going to use, and let me just add in, we're also going to figure out original price. That's in here too. The formula that we use is A equals P times W. This is really important, guys. Okay? You need to remember this. A, is that what you paid or the starting amount? A is what you paid. A is the sale price. Okay? The sale price. Whether you're paying more or less, whether it's a markup or a discount, A is what you pay for the product. Okay? What is W? W is the original price of the product, the starting price. You must remember that to keep these straight. Okay? All right, so You're going to have to listen to these scenarios, okay? And then we're going to set them up. All right, here's our next problem. You find the sale price, okay, of a $50 item. So write down these numbers on your desk. Find the sale price of a $50 item after a 20% discount. All right, so find the sale price. You don't know the sale price of a $50 item after a 20% discount. Okay, find the sale price. So we use A equals P times W. Oh, one other thing, and we're about to talk about it right now. The percentage is the percent that you pay. Okay, so that's important too. So if I'm finding the sale price, I do not know A. Okay, if it is a 20% discount, what percent did you pay? 80. So you have to subtract 20 from 100. Okay, so 100 is always our starting point. If it's a discount, I subtract. If it's a markup, I add. Okay, so I paid 80, but remember, I must change that to a decimal. All right, the original amount is $50. I paid 80% of that. So how much did I pay? What's 0.8 times 50? Okay, I paid $40. All right, if it was 20% off. Any questions on that? All right, so now we're going to use the same formula. Now we're going to find original price. Okay, find the original price of a pair of boots. Okay, so now I don't know original price. Okay, a pair of boots are $120. That's what I paid. I'm sorry. I paid $120 sale price. $120 sale price after a 30% discount. After a 30% discount. So what is the original amount for the boots? All right, so I still use my formula. A equals P times W. All right, so where do I plug in 120? Where do I plug it in? That's fine the way you did it, Nate. That's fine. But if you do it, wait, hold on. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so 120 gets plugged in for what? Gets plugged in for which one, guys? A or W? A, because that's what I paid. That's the sale price. Equals what percent did I pay if it was a 30% discount? What percent did I pay? 70%. So plug in 0.70 or just 0.7. I do not know the original price. Now I divide both sides by 0.70. And my original price is approximately, because I have to round it to the nearest penny. What did you guys get? $171.43. Okay? I just had to round to the nearest penny. And doesn't that make sense? If I paid $120, but that was 30% off, the original price is more than that. About $171. Okay? How'd you guys do on that? All right, so we're through about 75% of your test. Okay? The rest of your test is going to cover your simple interest. Simple interest. Okay? What is the formula for simple interest? I equals PRT. All right, let's review what each letter stands for. I stands for what? Interest. P stands for principal, or the initial amount that you invest. R stands for rate. And T stands for time in years. Very good. Okay, so here we go. I deposit. Okay, so I deposit $1,500 into a savings account. That account earns 8% interest per year. How much interest is earned after 6 years? Okay, how much interest is earned after 6 years? Go ahead and solve that part first. Okay, so I don't know the interest. What was my principal amount? 1,500 times my rate, but what must I change my rate to? Have to change it to a decimal. Did you say 0.08? Because if you say 0.8, that's 80%. Okay. Times, can I just plug in 6? Is that time in years? Okay. Yes, it is. All right. So what's 1,500 times 0.08 times 6? Interest is how much? Pretty good. $720. Okay. Now here's my next question. What is the final balance? What is the final balance after 6 years? What is your final balance after 6 years? Lily, what'd you get? Okay, 2,220. How did you get that? Okay, I take the interest and I add it back to my original principal. All right, very good. Okay, so now this is probably one of the trickier parts. All right, we're going to stick with our formula, I equals PRT. Okay, you deposit $800. So you make another deposit. $800 into an account. That account earns $40 in interest in 2 years. What is the rate? What is the annual interest rate? So what number did you plug in for I? 40. What number did you plug in for P? 800. You don't know the rate. What number did you plug in for time? 2. Okay? So we remember that commutative property says I can multiply in any order. That's important. So what's 800 times 2? 1,600. R. I don't know R. Divide both sides by 1,600. All right, that's probably going to be a small decimal. What's 40 divided by 1,600? Point. All right, so R equals what? 0.025. But that's not a percentage. That's not a percentage. What is my percent? R equals 2.5%. It's a decent interest rate. It's not a great interest rate. All right, how'd you guys do on that? So we solved for interest. We solved for our final balance. We solved for rate. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to solve for time. I equals PRT. Okay, now we're going to solve for time. All right, you and your friend are going to invest $50 into separate mutual funds. We'll call it a mutual fund. So you say mutual fund is just like the stock market, basically. Okay, so you say, I'm going to put my $50 here, and your friend says, I'm going to put my $50 over here. But they're going to grow at different rates. Okay, So you and your friend both invest $50. Okay? Your account, okay, so here's you. Your account earns 3% interest. Your friend's account earns 5% interest. Okay? So what we want to know, let me make sure I didn't forget any information.
We need the interest.
Yes. How long does it take for each of you to earn $12 in interest? Okay? So how long does it take for each of you to earn $12 in interest? All right? So your account earns 3%, your friend's account earns 5%. So we're just going to round to the nearest year, okay? So it's probably not going to come out evenly. That's okay. All right, so 12 gets plugged in for I equals your principal amount. Do I plug in a 3 for my rate?
No.
Nope. 0.03. And I don't know time. All right, so 12 equals 1.5t. So how long did it take me? 8 years to earn $12 in interest. That's not a great. Well, you only put $50 in it.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so time is 8 years. That's how long it took you. Okay, your friend, their account made a little bit better interest. So 12 equals 50 times point what? 0.05 times time. All right, so 50 times 0.05, it's 2.5. So 12 equals 2.5 t. All right, so when you divide 12 by 2.5, your time is what? 4.8 years. 4.8.
That's not like good when it's bad.
All right, so yeah, it's definitely better. Now, 0.8 of a year is technically 4/5 of a year, but we don't have to figure out how many months. Clearly, your friend made the better investment. The 7th grade class is going on a field trip. Woohoo! Field trips. We love field trips. Okay? 32 students have turned in their permission slips. This is only 40% of the students in the 7th grade, though. How many students are in the 7th grade? All right, I'm going to say it again. Class is going on a field trip. 32 students have turned in their permission slips. But this is only 40% of the students in the 7th grade. So I'm going to give you a hint. I'm not going to give you this hint tomorrow. Anytime you're finding a percent, okay, that's a percent problem. You're given a percentage, you're given a value, and then you're asked how many students are in the class. Here's what you have to figure out. That 32, okay, 32 students have turned it in, but that's only 40% of the students in the class. So the percentage is pretty simple, right? 40% gets plugged in for what? For P. All right, so that's going to be 0.40. You have to figure out, is that 32, is that a part of the 7th grade class? Or is that all the students in the 7th grade class? The total.
How do you get 0.40? Is that from the...
I just told you it was 40% of the students. I told you that 32 students had turned it in, but I asked you how many students are in the 7th grade. So 32 is only a part of the total students in the 7th grade. Okay? So I can divide both sides by 0.40. And what's 32 divided by 0.40? So there are 80 students in the 7th grade. Okay? Which means how many students still have to turn in their permission slip? If there's 80 students in the 7th grade, and how many students have turned it in? 32. 48 students are left that still need to turn in. Otherwise, they're not going. Okay? All right, so that pretty much sums it up. Do you guys remember how to find sales tax? Okay, y'all want to do one of those? Okay, so you pay 7% sales tax. Okay, on a bicycle, we'll say a skateboard. On a skateboard, that cost, oh, I'm sorry. All right, on a skateboard, and you paid we're going to say $22 in tax. How much what is the purchase price of the skateboard? Okay, so you paid a 7% sales tax on a skateboard, and you paid $22 in tax. So what was the purchase price of the skateboard? Okay, that problem's actually missing some information. So don't worry about this one. Don't worry about this one. I need to double check that because we're missing some information on that we need to know. Okay, but no big deal. All right, we've already covered pretty much all the material that's going to be on your test for tomorrow. So what now? It's missing some information. I have to know either how much I paid for the skateboard or how much the original price of the skateboard was. So if you guys remember back to that menu example that we did in class, that's like what's on your test tomorrow. But you needed either one of those pieces of information. So I just need to go back and double check that problem. All right, but no worries there. We've pretty much covered everything you need to know for your test tomorrow.